Welcome to Indian time, the month of October, or the month of hunting. It's a time of the year, the fall time of the year, where people are getting back together, getting ready for the winter months ahead. Done with their gathering of a lot of the berries, picking the berries and some of the roots, the medicinal and food plants, and getting ready for winter. Most of the things that are done this time of the year is hunting, getting ready for a hunt, and drying meat, and getting ready for the cold winters ahead. Usually we have a lot of snow, but in the past few years it seems like we've been getting by with very little snow, and our country here is getting awful dry. I'm hoping that we're going to have a good wet and snowy winter. Place names for this show, I think we completed the circle. We started from Evero, and we named some place names through Ravala's, Mission, Ronan, all the way up to Nairata and Hot Springs. And now we're back around by Dixon. Dixon, some people a long time ago used to call it Epstedu, because that was a place, an area with the wild plums in that whole area from just north of the old, right along the old bridge that used to cross there at Dixon. All in that area used to be full of wild plums, and also they used to call it Skidlip, which means the two rivers, or a river coming into another river. So this is where the Clark Fork, the different rivers, the Jocko and the Flathead come together. So they call this Skidlip. The other name will come back, and will come back on through Ravala, which is Squatlaw, which means getting back down to the water. You come back, Squatlaw. So those are the two place names we have today. And other events that taken place in October over the years is that in October on the 5th, in 1854, the Jesuits established a mission at St. Ignatius, the Catholic Church there. And that was after they established in the Bitterroot at St. Mary's on Stevensville. And then from there they moved to eastern, what is now eastern Washington, on the lower Pend Oreille or Kalispell Reservation. And then from there they moved here back to western Montana in St. Ignatius. So the Jesuits at that time established a mission in St. Ignatius in 1854, October 5th. On October the 15th in 1932 was the first Christmas business on the reservation was established up there in Dayton, the first Christmas tree yard and Christmas tree business, which at this time of the year is also an activity today's Indian people here on the reservation look forward to cutting Christmas trees. It's an important time that they are able to earn a few dollars cutting and selling Christmas trees. In 1855, on October 17th, the Pend d'Oreille, Salish, and Kootenai leaders signed the Judith River Treaty to divide the buffalo hunting grounds and establish peace with the Blackfeet and other tribes. The buffalo was a very important part of all the tribal people here, around here, because it supplied so much, not only the food, but material and clothing and those kinds of things. So it was something that the tribes fought over quite a bit. So in 1855, on October 17th, the treaty, or what they called the Judith River Treaty, was signed by the different tribes. Also, on the same day, on October 17th, in 1891, Chief Charlo and 157 Salish arrived at the Jocko Agency after forced removal from the Bitterroot Valley, which was a sad occasion for the Bitterroot Salish. On October the 18th, a couple days from now, in 1908, the Swan Massacre occurred in the Swan Valley, where Camille Paul, Atwens Tsui, Padasis Tsui, Marta, Kali Hutsu, or Martin Yellow Mountain, were all killed by Montana game warden Charles Peyton, who in turn was killed by Clarice Paul to save the women from being shot. This was a terrible event that took place here in the Swan Valley. The Swan was one of the areas that the people from here went over to do their hunting and get their winter meat. And at this time, Peyton, who was a very ornery and anti-social, tried to intimidate and force people out of there, and which led to the shooting and the killing of Indian people there. On the 19th of October, in 1887, 25 Lower Kalispel, or Pend d'Oreille, under the leadership of Chief Michel, removed here to the Flathead Reservation. Coming up on, I believe in October the 24th, coming up soon, will be the 101st birthday for Louise Combs of Arlee, Louise Lemus Combs, who is, I believe, the oldest member of our tribe now. So her birthday is coming up soon, October 25th. Today I want to talk, I guess my topic today is going to be on the medicine tree, as by now all of you have learned or heard about the medicine tree fallen over onto the highway. I want to talk a little bit about that. Also, I hope all of you went out and voted for the primary election for the tribal council seats that are up. And I hope that you're all, if you didn't vote for the primary, I hope you're all out there to vote for the general, which I believe is the 15th of December. And it's very important that we select the right leaders to lead our people in this time of turmoil, I guess, in our country. Good leadership is very important at this time. Leadership that lead our people, that listen to our people, and lead us into something that, to a future that hopefully is better for not only for today's people, but future generations. So get out, make sure you get out there and vote in December. Getting back to the medicine tree, medicine tree plays a very important role in our history as Salish people, not only spiritually, culturally, but in many ways it had played a role in our lives. It's part of our history, as I said. It's part of our legend, our creation story, where the coyote and the Mean Mountain sheep were in conflict, and that's where the mountain sheep was killed. And these types of events, these types of things that happened in our creation stories are part of how we teach our young people the values of life, of who we are as Indian people. So it played a very important role. It tells us the Creator provided an event for us so that we could utilize and teach our children through this. And so over the years, the people have left offerings at the tree, offerings and left for in prayer for themselves, for the family, for relatives, for the tribes, for leaders, and for those that have gone on. It is a very deep belief of ours that the Creator provides these things for us so that we may communicate with our ancestors and with the Creator. So to show our faith, we always leave some offerings. When we go hunting, we kill a deer, we leave an offering. When we go picking berries, we first pick the berries, we leave an offering. This is giving thanks back to the Creator, to Mother Earth, for providing these things for us. Nothing is free, nothing is taken for granted. It is always with respect and with honor that we do these things. And although the medicine tree is gone, the site has been established. The site itself is a big part of where the medicine tree was. The medicine tree was part of the site. So after many hours of deliberation with the elders, trying to figure out, decide on what we were going to do under the guidance of the elders to do. What were we going to do with the remaining tree that has fallen? What we were going to do with the offerings that were on the tree at the time it fell? What are we going to do in the future? And as always, we always look to our elders for guidance, who are knowledgeable, who have the knowledge of our ancestors, and who pass that knowledge on from generation to generation. So after many hours of talking about, the elders have come to a consensus on what we are going to do in the future. Unfortunately, as soon as the tree fell down, someone in the Bitterroot Valley non-member gathered all of the offerings and took it home. And luckily, through the cooperation of the Valley County Sheriff's Department, especially Steve Holton, the undersheriff, who helped us track the person down and got all the offerings back. A very cooperative effort on their part. Within a couple of days, we had all of the offerings that were picked up on the highway back in our possession. And before I go into more of the medicine tree, we'll take a short break right here.
The choices we make today affect our options for tomorrow. I choose not to smoke and pursued my ability to sing. I've been able to travel, make new friends, and see different cultures. Choose carefully. Don't limit your future.
Welcome back to Indian Time. Remember, the two place names for this show is Skilip or Epstedo, which is Dixon, and Skotla'o, which is River Valley. Today we're talking about the events that took place at Medicine Tree, the things that the tree that fell, and the importance and the role it played, and the meetings that took place with the elders and the decision on what to do in the future. And it's very important to the tribal membership to know that nothing has changed as far as what we do and what we're going to do in the future. Nothing has changed. The only change there is that the tree will be gone. The majority of the tree, there is about 20 feet of the tree left, as you will see in the photo. But the tree, the site, as I mentioned earlier, the site remains important. The site remains sacred. And we will continue to go to the site itself to pray. The thing that will change was that we will have to select, the elders will have to select another tree to leave offerings on in the future. But the prayers will be left at the original site, at the original tree. So that things won't change as far as the activities and things that we do to pray and leave offerings for our health and for our people. And I believe that the elders have decided that the selection of another tree to leave offerings will not be made until our next visit. Our next visit will be in the spring. We'll let people know when we're going back down. In the meantime, the elders have decided that there was some decisions to be made on what to do with the remainder of the tree, the parts that fell. And there was many discussions that took place, and basically there were about three options that they really looked at. And the options that were brought up were to gather all of the tree that was remaining that broke and burn it. But some elders felt uncomfortable of burning something, letting it. Some people felt like it was a cremation, and that they were not too comfortable with that. So then they decided, discussion was that maybe then all the tree be gathered in an area and buried. And naturally there was other people that were not comfortable burying things. We don't know what you're burying. So it was finally come to a consensus by the elders to gather up the remainder of what's left of the tree, find a spot, and then put the tree there and let it deteriorate, let it go back naturally back into the ground, so that still people will able to visit parts of the old tree if they wanted to, and watch it deteriorate and go back into the ground naturally. And maybe our future generations, maybe our children, our grandchildren, will have an opportunity to feel and to sense the importance and the power of that tree if they're able to see it with what's left of the tree. Although they won't be able to feel the tree in its existence when it was, when it was still standing, they won't be able to feel that. But at least they will see, have an opportunity to see what it looked like, parts of it anyway. So that was the decisions that the elders labored, and the conclusion that they came to after many, many hours of deliberation, of trying to come up to the best possible solution of taking care of such an important part of our history, of our creation stories. So that's what the plans are for the future, is to continue to visit the site itself, where the part of the tree that's remaining, and to leave our prayers there, and then to select another tree on a spring visit to leave our offerings on, and then to gather all the remnants of what's left of the tree that had broken off, and find a place for it that's safe, and let it deteriorate and go back into the earth in a natural process. The subject of the tree, or the top, or what to do with what's of the tree that's still standing. Our eldest member that was down there, Agnes Paul, who is 91, felt that it shouldn't be altered or changed or assisted in any way, that it should be allowed to deteriorate naturally also. If it falls, whenever it falls, that's the natural process. That's the process that the Creator has given us. The Creator gave us the tree, gave us the events that took place of that tree, and we utilized it, and she felt that the tree has grown old. It's estimated between 375 to 400 years old, so it's a natural process that they feel that took the life of the tree, a lot of that. It was time for that tree to fall. And as you can see from some of the photos, the part that broke off, you could see that the tree has deteriorated quite a bit over the years, has started to rot inside. So, and the time and the days were numbered that sooner or later it was going to fall. And the events that took place, it took place at about the time that the disaster hit also at New York City, when the terrorists went down there, and the Twin Towers were destroyed and many lives were lost. And maybe this is a process, we don't know, that whether it was a coincidence or whether it was part of a natural process. It's a reminder. Maybe it's a reminder to us as human beings that we need to start taking back those values, taking seriously the values that was given to us by our parents and our grandparents. So I'd like to thank all of those people that have assisted in helping us to get to this decision to where we're at now with the medicine tree. Peg Platt, whose property that the tribes have purchased down there, was very helpful in watching over the tree, watching over the site after the tree fell, making sure that a lot of the things that took place there was with people from here, that the tribal people were involved. And so she watched over the tree, and I'd like to thank her for that. And like I said, the county sheriff department down there was very helpful in getting back the items that were taken from there, and worked with us were very cooperative in the things that with our concerns. And I would like to thank also the Preservation Office, Marcia Pablo and, excuse me, Marcia Pablo, Dave Schwab, and Wes Ben, and some of the other staff members who responded so quickly when this happened, and were down there taking care of the tree. broken parts, making sure that the highway department came in and moved the tree into a safe area. I felt that the tribes, the preservation office, worked very quickly in something that was unexpected, I guess, something that came up as fast as that. And I would also like to thank John Stanislaw, who knew the importance and was very concerned about it, who went down there on that same day, the day after this happened, to offer some of his guidance and prayers to make sure that things were done properly and taken care of properly. And the elders have came to a consensus that Pat Pierre and John Stanislaw, who volunteered to take care of those offerings that had fallen off the tree and were gathered, and those offerings that were taken back from this person that collected them. The elders agreed to allow them, since they volunteered, to take care of these items. So at this time and at this point, I feel that the culture committees, the preservation office, the elders have done the best they could after many hours of talking about things which should be done properly. I think they've done the best they could to come to this consensus and how to care for such an important part of our history, of our culture. It's a great loss. The tree itself is a great loss. We will not be able to feel its presence, its giant presence looking over you. But the site, as I said, will remain, and it's very important. We'll continue to do the things that we have done in the past to visit. So I hope this has answered a lot of the questions I know that many people were thinking about. And so in the future, if you have any questions, call us at the Salish Pend Oreille Culture Committee at the Longhouse at 745-4572. And that is our show for this week. Lemlem Chpesia Pisn Kusqeli Kume Isia I Presia